How did you first hear about Real Deals?
Actually, I lived in Colorado, and a friend of mine comes over to my place one day, and she says, "Hey, April, I found a great new store. I got this really cute sign for over in my bedroom, and it only costs like $5.79. And she was so excited. She goes, "Here's the receipt." And I said, "I believe you. I don't need to see your receipt." And she said, "No, really." She goes, "This store is only open 2 days a week, just Thursdays and Saturdays. So on the receipt, it shows the hours." And I thought, that's crazy. Why would it only be, what store is only open 2 days a week? And then she said, and she goes, it's outside of town a little bit, across from the cemetery. So it's got the address there too. And I thought she was crazy. But every day she said, "Have you gone to the store yet? Have you gone to the store yet?" And I went in about a week later and I fell in love and I became a Real Deals fan, or a fanatic, whichever you'd want to call it. So then when we were moving back to North Dakota, I called my sister Rachel up and said, "North Dakota needs a store like this." And I made her come out to Colorado and go to the store before I moved back.
And we decided that, we definitely could give it a try. And
Yeah.
What were you doing before, like your work?
I am a CPA, and so I had some clients that I helped from home, and otherwise just stay-at-home mom, so I did all my work from my house.
Are you currently?
I'm still a CPA. After 4 years, I finally dropped my last client as of the end of last year. So, yeah.
And I worked for, I was kind of in between. I worked for a church with children's ministry. I'm a teacher by trade, so nothing retail nor home decor.
Just jump in.
I love it. I love houses, and we would flip houses a lot, and I love the store. I was a customer who loved the store. So
what was your first thought about the 2-day-a-week model?
I thought it was crazy. But not enough that once I went to the store, I loved it. I planned all my errands because it was about 20 minutes away. I planned all my errands for Thursdays. And I would tell the kids, we'd go do all of our errands. And then I'd tell the kids, you get ice cream if you sit good while I go to Real Deals. That's my dessert. You get ice cream at McDonald's afterwards.
As a CPA, I'm sure you deal with people and businesses all the time. What was your thought?
It goes against everything. I have a business degree too, and it goes against everything they taught you in college. You have to be, open for the customer when the customer wants it. It has to be convenient and in a good location. And but after being at the store in Colorado and hearing how much April and her friends raved about it, I thought, okay, well maybe this actually will work. And
really, when you think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Keeping that overhead low, being in a warehouse, but keeping that overhead low, and payroll is your biggest expense. And if you go into another mom and pop or a small boutique or something like that, they are paying someone to stand around, and there are 1, maybe 2 customers in that store. And they can't really get a lot of work done because they have to be available for you, and yet they're just kind of standing around. We use that payroll much more wisely.
Our employees don't stand around on Thursdays and Saturdays. They run.
We tell them to wear running shoes.
Yeah.
What was it that made you pull the trigger and actually open your doors?
We thought about it for quite a while, and
we did.
Talked with Nate a bunch, and got as much information.
And we prayed about it a lot. Yeah. My family had been going through a lot of changes, and I needed something new and different in my life, and yet I still had small children, so this was something I loved. I loved the store. I still had small kids. I knew I'd put a lot of time in. It was starting a new business. But I also knew there'd be flexibility, because if you didn't get the work done on a Wednesday morning, you could go back Wednesday night when the kids were in bed, or take the kids with you, and just needed something different. And I kind of talked you into it.
I just can't say no to my sister, unfortunately.
How many employees do you have?
We currently have 15 employees.
Now,
all part-time.
And a couple are subs. And
we probably have 6 that are there weekly basis, all really
do 2-3 days a week.
Yeah. And the rest are ones that fill in on
Or
Saturdays.
do a couple Saturdays a month or something like that.
So when you first started, how long were you in the store as opposed to now? Is it the same amount?
Oh, no, it's much more manageable now. Yeah.
In the beginning, we were there, I would say, at least 60 hours a week, and probably a whole lot more. And probably maybe more in the store, about 60 hours, and then we still did ordering and stuff like that from home. But then we both started getting...
having health problems?
We tried doing it on our own.
Right.
And we both started having health problems and realized we couldn't handle continuing to do it that way. And so we did hire on some people, and that made it better. And then just, the learning curve. We're figuring things out and how to do it. And so now it's probably 5 days a week.
Yep, we take off Sundays and Mondays.
Yep.
And as long as, depending on what season of the year it is,
right.
We trade off Saturdays, we trade off Thursdays, and,
yep.
Can make it to all the soccer games then. And
So how long have you been open?
4 years.
Okay, that was great. That was in stereo. Okay, tell me about when you found your building. What was that? So you were interested, you got in contact with Nate, and you're learning about it. Now you got to find a building.
Yep, that was actually kind of fun because I like looking at real estate, and that makes it so real when you're looking for your building. Now a little stressful because you want to keep it, cheap. But no, actually it was pretty easy because there were a number of them that we would go to and just cross them right off the list pretty quick. And then we had found one that we thought was okay, and we sent it to Nate, did the pictures, told him the pros and cons, but we weren't completely satisfied. We thought it was a little bit spendy, and then we, when we finally found the one that we started out in, we knew it was that one right away, but that's because the rent was so cheap.
Yeah.
It had a lot of space.